Hey guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This is another video in our psychology series. This video is what is the halo effect and how do we make impressions? So this should be a pretty interesting one. The halo effect is basically the idea that positive perceptions, one positive perception about someone changes their whole identity and makes the person a completely good person, which is obviously not the case. But even though they could be a really good person, one good deed doesn't make them completely all the way. And this is a form of confirmation bias that people have, where if someone does one good thing or has one good trait, they assume all good traits. Someone has all good traits. So in this video, we're talking about the halo and horn effect, and we'll give 3 examples for each one. Um, the halo effect, there's 3 good, I'm sure there's plenty, basically any good trait, all the good traits I talked about in my social rank might have perceived good qualities. But basically the 3 I'm talking about in this video are attractiveness, intelligence, and charisma. If someone's attractive, intelligent, or charismatic, they might be seen as having very positive associations with each one, which is cool because each one is unique. For example, an attractive person, it said when I was researching it, is seen as reliable, honest, good, intelligent, social, and has strong mental states. It said it's good mental health. It said, which obviously can come with its own baggage, such as, for example, like if someone is anxious and attractive, people might be like doing this or why is he acting this way, but in reality, it's more maybe because shy, or maybe because the person's shy that they act that way. So that's the attractiveness one. Charismatic, it said people might perceive them as competent leaders. And not that this is always not the case, but obviously someone can act charismatic but not know anything about a certain topic. For example, if you're charismatic, you still might lack the experience of a certain expertise. For example, a charismatic person that never cooked in their life might go into a restaurant and be like, okay guys, today we're going to be making tiramisu. And they just are like very charismatic about it. So you're like, oh, this guy knows what they're doing. But in reality, they might not necessarily know what they're doing. And that's where the confirmation bias, becomes negative, because if someone's very charismatic, this is very dangerous because this person can become very, very powerful. But in reality, they might not know, if they lack the experience, another good trait, they might lead people into disaster because they might not actually know what they're doing. They might just pretend like they know what they're doing. If that makes sense. Attractiveness, like I said, the second halo effect, there's a lot of good traits. People see them social, outgoing, friendly, kind, intelligent, even though they haven't chosen these traits yet. So they might, although this is good for obviously if this person has this, but sadly, this might make someone who has all these traits be overlooked by someone else. Even though they have those traits, they just might not be conventionally objectively attractive, even though attractiveness is sometimes subjective. The third one is intelligence. In intelligence, people assume these people are hardworking, disciplined, and honest. However, just because someone's intelligent doesn't mean always mean they're hardworking, disciplined, and honest. Someone who's intelligent can be not all people who are intelligent, but some people who are intelligent can use this to their benefit of being calculating and not actually being honest or disciplined or hardworking. So yeah, those are the 3 halos. The 3 horn effects, negative first impressions basically. Number 1, it was unattractive. Obviously, I think attractiveness is mainly subjective. What one person views as attractive might not what other people view, but I also believe there's an objectivity to it. It's subjective and objective. Like there's like attractive features that people have used for like ages while I was researching it. But so there's objectivity to attractiveness. Like some things are like, yeah, that's almost objectively an attractive trait or feature, but there is subjective things people can do to be attractive as well. That being said, if someone is perceived necessarily as unattractive, people might perceive them as like it said when I was researching it, less confident, less outgoing, arrogant, or unfriendly, even though these people can be is seen this way for some reason, this person could still be very friendly, outgoing, and kind. So it's a negative association that's not necessarily true. If someone's seen as uncharismatic or shy, people might perceive them actually as arrogant, anxious, unreliable, and inconsistent. When someone who's shy, or bad leaders, it said, but someone who's shy can be a good leader. They just have to work through it a little bit, or have a close advisor who helps them be a leader. So it's still possible to be shy and be a leader, but might require the shy person to be a little more outgoing, or have a trusted advisor or helper to help them lead. The third thing is, it might not even be unintelligent, but if someone had made a bad impression and did something like goofy or out of pocket, they might be viewed as unintelligent. If someone is viewed as unintelligent, it's said the characteristics are they might be viewed as lazy, not competent leaders, and having a tough, not a good work ethic, even though someone who might be slightly not super deep in thought, right, could still be hardworking, disciplined, reliable. So yeah, these are all 3 of the halo and horn effects. So basically, what is the halo effect and how do we make impressions? First impressions are very important because they defy a lot, and sadly sometimes people have advantages in life which aren't fair, which is kind of, and it's good to be like, if you have the attractive halo, that's good for that person, but like if you don't have that, you're kind of like, it might be easier for them and tougher for you, but at the same way, if you have that, it's good for them. It's like good for the attractive person, like it's good for them, I guess, you know what I mean? So it's like but if you don't have it, it might be tougher. However, if you have one horn aspect, right, but you also might have a halo aspect. For example, let's say you're perceived for some reason as unattractive, but even though you're not, everyone's attractive in some way. If you have like a charismatic trait, like a halo, you might actually still be seen as attractive because the charismatic part outweighs the other perception. Same way as like if you're intelligent, if you're like attractive and shy, negatively people can view you as arrogant, but it could also be seen as endearing potentially as well. So yeah, and you can use any of these combinations basically for any scenario. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In conclusion, even though sadly sometimes life puts limitations on first impressions, we still define how those impressions, working hard, we can change those negative impressions and foster our positive impressions going forward. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.